Happy Self Love Sunday. I am Sass, the host of Self Love Sundays with Sass. I am a certified life coach who loves to come here every single Sunday and talk about all the ways that we can better our best. For those of you who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you stick around and enjoy my content. And for those of you who come every single week, just know that I truly love and appreciate you because without support, we can do nothing. So today I want to talk to you guys about something that happened yesterday that I just thought was like funny to me, but at the same token, I was like, this might be a good conversation for today. So yesterday I had to take my car to the Honda dealer, and they offer free Uber service, right? That will drop you off and also pick you up. So the man comes to pick me up from the house, and at first he couldn't find his way because I guess the maps took him to a different home than mine. But anyway, he ends up calling me. I guide him into the house, and I get in the car, and you can already tell automatically because my energy is like high vibe. Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. That's me on a typical day, right? So and automatically you could tell that was not the energy he was on and or was trying to give. So we started talking about just normal stuff. He asked me how I was doing. I said great, and I don't know how the conversation started, but he said something like, the state of the world. Like, I can't believe that we still live in a world where, we bomb other people, yada, yada, yada. So as he said it, I listened, and I was like, I can understand that. I said, but there's one thing that I've come to learn, and it's that, this has been going on from the beginning of time, and I'm sure that it's going to continue long after we leave. So to me, instead of concentrating on things that I have no power over, I try to concentrate on things that I can help with. So what are some of the ways that I can help make the world a better place instead of saying how bad the world is and the world is so messed up? Like, what are some of the things that I can do? Well, I said, some of the things I could do is like everybody I come in contact with, I want to leave you better than I found you. Hopefully something I say will, help brighten your mood. If there's something to me, am I saying ignore what's going on in the world? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you can help, right? But we can all sit around and whine about it. But this was the interesting part. So as I was sharing with him, some of the ways that we can make things better. Therefore, I'm not just going to sit around and talk about the problem. I'm like, let's talk about some of the solutions. This is what he said. He says, that sounds good. And just all bland with it. And I said, what's funny? If I would have continued down the conversation and just problem after problem after problem, he would have been in his glory. But because I was like, well, what can we do? What can we do to make, to make a difference? What can we do to make a dent? He had nothing. And it prompted me to think, how many of you are picking up the phone, calling people to talk about the problem so we can just wallow in the problem and not really looking for a solution? So do you really care is my question. Do you really care about the state of the world? Do you really care about making your situation better? Do you really care about helping your family member out? Do you really care about helping that friend out? Or you're just really calling so we can all wallow in it together? That's the question I have for people today. Because it's so interesting that and it's happened with me too. I come here and I talk to you guys every Sunday, but I don't never front. I used to be that person who would call 5 people with the same problem, hoping to get the answer that I just really wanted them to give, which is the one that I was thinking. So therefore making me right. If we're going to be honest today. Because if you're calling 5 different people to ask the same question, do you really want help or do you want attention? I had to ask myself these questions, so therefore I'm coming to ask you today. It's so important. Because after that, he really didn't have no rep, right? So I'm just like, it was just really interesting to me. And so it prompted me to think about how often, I'm talking about even from the news, I'm talking about from social media, how much are consuming to make you right to make it okay for you to wallow, to make it okay for you not to do anything, to make it okay for you to say, well, the world is just so messed up. Everything in this world is just so bad. So you can stay in that place instead of challenging yourself to do something to make somebody's life better, to make something better, to do something different. I'm just curious about it. And for me, this is why, like, real talk, like, I started kind of rocking alone and moving in different circles because I was like, you know what? I'm falling victim to being a victim of sitting in this same place of waiting for somebody to help, for a table for me to go sit at their table, right? Instead of understanding like, yo, go build your own table. If you got to be the first, you got to be the first. So be it. If you too much, and I got my shirt on that said, if you too much, go find less. I had to really say that, like, yo, if I'm too much for this, if I'm too much for you, in other words, if I walk in the room and I'm like, all you talking about is lack, and I'm like, yo, but listen, we can build our own table. So we can stop begging the government, so we can start begging somebody, like, to come through for us. Like, let's go build our own. If that's not what you want, that's okay. But don't be upset when somebody moves away, because all you want to do is stay rooted in the problem, but don't want to make a move or a thought pattern or an inkling towards a solution. I'm just saying, y'all. Are you stuck in the problem? Are you falling victim to being the victim of that environment? Are you truly looking for a solution? Are you truly looking for a way to make this world a better place? Because there's so many different things you can do. Listen, politics is not my bag. That's not my bag, right? So if you really hell bent on change, like, what are you doing to help create the change? Like, I'm for real. Like, do you really care? I'm just interested. Or is it all about how we can sit around? Because there's so many, I'm telling y'all, real talk. Like, I watch a lot of things because a part of what I do is I speak on different things, and I'm always trying to help people, like, create a vision for their life and to walk into that vision, right? So I watch a lot of different things, and it's so ironic, and it's just truth. There will be 5 people who may watch this, chime in, may share. Most people won't. Why? Because they've come to see that if it's negative, if it's all problem based, 1,000, like 50,000 likes. Yup. Will Smith and Chris Rock got more views and more shares than the person that's trying to help you create a better life for you and your family, trying to help you build a table. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't, it's like real to me. And I can't say it don't make sense to me, because it makes perfect sense to me. Because people would rather take the spotlight off of them, and put it on something else. And don't even realize that's why you stay in the lack mentality that you are. You're not willing to give up those people, places, and things that keep you stuck in the problem world and bypass anybody, because anybody that's talking about a solution, they just don't make no sense. They just dreamers. That's just not what it is. Like, real talk. We're going to be real today. And how many people would have sat in the back of that car with that Uber driver, and when he stayed problem focused, although your mindset says, you know what, I believe in something bigger than that. I believe in something better than that. I don't believe that the world is all bad. I believe that we can create change in this world. But you would have, like, shrunk yourself down and stayed in the problem with them. How many of you are doing that? How many of you are shrinking yourselves in the circles that you're in now? I did it. Shrinking yourself back to stay fitting into this small piece of the world. Do you know how big this world is? Do you know there's people out here that think like you think, that move how you move, that want to create something better? I know, because I'm finding them every single day. Every time I decide to walk away from a limiting belief, person, place, or thing, I find something bigger. I'm living proof of it. And I'm going to keep climbing until I reach that pinnacle to build a table, just to show, like, real talk, this is real. It's not just talk. But you can't just talk about it either. You got to do something to create action behind it. That means you got to move. That means you got to create a plan. That means you got to reverse engineer this thing. And I'm not going to sit up here and say, like, it's all roses and rainbows. It's not. But at the end of the day, I rather, let me just say this. At the end of the day, I rather try to climb the ladder to build a table to bring in generational blessings than to sit and talk about the generational curses and sit in them. Real talk. Everybody, oh, I broke a generational curse. Okay, so now what you going to do? What are you going to do now? Will your great grandchildren know who you are? What will you build? What will you change? What can you bring? And here's the thing. I'm not saying it has to be on the scale of which I'm deciding that I want to do. No. What can you do in your home? How can you shift the paradigm in your home? How can you shift the mindset in your home? How can everybody you come across, you touch with a solution as opposed to wallowing in the problem with them? What do you solve by wallowing in the problem? I just want to know. Real talk. So many people, I watch it. That's what I had to make a declaration to change myself, though, in my mindset first, to understand how to maneuver. And then I always say, too, just because you do it don't make you better. But sometimes you have to leave the place to go build it and then come back and show them how you did it. It just is what it is because they're not going to believe in you. And that's okay. And they talked about it in the call I was on this morning. People in your hometown, people in your family, they're not going to be the ones that's going to believe in you. They're going to look at you sideways because they're going to be like, I remember when you was a gossiper. I remember when you dated that one. I remember when you did this. And I remember when you gossiped about that person. I remember, they're going to always remember when, but they're not going, listen, they're going to always remember when, but they're not going to see your now and help you with your future. It just is what it is. And you got to let them live in that. You just have to let them live that, and you got to be able to walk on. And again, that don't mean that there's not some grief or anything tied to it. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that your vision, listen, the vision wasn't a conference call. And sometimes you got to walk alone. And if you truly live in the spirit, you'll understand that you're not alone. And even in that, because I'm going to be real every time I talk to you. Even in that, though, there's times when I'm like, God, listen. I understand that I have to walk this with you. I understand that in obedience, I had to let all this go. But God, I need something more. I really do. And then he brought in my soul tribe. You got to ask for it, y'all. I'm not going to sit up here and say, when I went through the dark night, I'm going to just tell y'all, like, I went through the dark night of the soul. I mean, real talk, where God, like, he was like, listen, this is going to be me and you. And I'm going to have you face some of these things that you've done. I'm going to have you face some of the things that you said. I'm going to have you face some of the moves that you made. You're going to have to face it. And then in that moment, I said, wow, like, I understand. Let me tell you what I understood in that moment. I understood why some people won't walk through, and I understood why people do. I'm going to say it again. I understood why some people won't walk through, and I understood why people do. Because to face that, it takes a strength, y'all. It takes a faith. It takes a belief. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and there was plenty of times that I wanted to quit, but then I remembered why I was doing it in the first place. What that meant is my why is so big that I can't quit on it. My why, what is your why for doing it? It was big. It's bigger than my kids too, y'all. It's bigger than that. What is your why? It has to be big enough for you to say, I'm not going to quit on myself. I'm not going to quit on my dreams. I'm not going to shrink back in these conversations. If I'm too much for that person, so be it. So be it. And again, I want to make it clear. That doesn't mean that we don't read the room, right? It doesn't mean I'm walking to a funeral like I'm here. What's up? You won't accept me or not. That's not what I'm saying, y'all. It's just not. But what I'm saying is that I'm a person that's solution focused. I'm not going to shrink myself and wallow in the problems with people. And I'm not going to shrink myself back in arguing back and forth about, why my idea seems crazy. Or why my dream may be too big for you. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, hey, listen, I understand. I understand exactly where you're coming from. Why I understand that? Because I was there at one point in my life where I didn't think larger than my city. I didn't think larger than my limiting beliefs. I didn't have the spirit of faith. And I'm not going to front like I don't feel fear. I feel the fear and I do it anyway. I challenge myself through fears. I'm about to put myself in another challenge in the next 40 days just to help me understand that I have control over this. This is my mind for those of you who can't see the video. I have control over my mind. You have to gain control. It's all about your mindset. Your mindset. It's all about the vocabulary that you choose. It's all about the people you surround yourself with. It's all about the things that you listen to. And it's all about, I'm going to say this, y'all. It's all about investing in yourself as well. I did not come to this point in my life all on my own. First and foremost, you're going to always hear me say, it was me getting with my spirituality, investing in my spiritual growth. Number one, investing in my mindset, investing in my health. And it's been some struggles in it. Real talk. But at the end of the day, my why is so big. I'm like, I'm going to keep on pushing. I push through my tears. I push through my fears. And my thing is, and this is what I teach my clients. Like, listen, life is going life. But what are you going to do? How can you push past this? How can you already done been to the pain. So how can we purpose that thing? How can we repackage that thing? That's what they call me, the paradigm shifter. Because when you come and we work together, I'm going to shift that paradigm. But here's the thing. You got to want it. I don't pull nobody's teeth, and I don't want to work with anybody where I got to pull your teeth. No, you got to really want it. Because when I went to my coach, I wanted it. I wanted change. I wanted growth. I was willing to invest in myself. And this is the other thing too, because I hear some people like, oh, there's some people coming like, I want to work with you, right? But my thing is, and it's like, okay, so what do you want to work in? Oh, okay, but then they want it for free. Here's the thing. You're not even willing to invest in you, but you want me to invest in you? How do you sound? I'm just keeping it real. Does that mean I don't help people? Nope, I help people all the time. The revolution shall not be televised for all the things that I will continue to do. I will continue. If God tells me to walk in and help somebody, if God tells me to lend a word, without question, I'm going to do that. But here's the thing. But if you don't invest in you, how do you want me to invest in you? If you don't invest in you, how do you expect your husband or your partner or spouse or your soul tribe to come in to invest in you? It's a question. You don't invest in you. Like, real talk, when I go to people for something and they tell me how much it's going to cost, I don't question their ticket item, nor do I bargain. I don't question, nor do I bargain with certain things. When it comes to coaches and therapists and things, why? Because I know that I'm worth it. I invest in me. I need y'all to understand that. You got to want to invest in you. You got to believe in you. You got to know that you're worth it. You got to know that if you invested in something that you invested in something, that means you believe in yourself, that you're going to have faith, and then you're going to apply action to what you invested in, and it's going to return to you tenfold. That's the kind of faith I have in myself. That's why it doesn't, listen, I spent over, I want to probably say 10 grand investing in my personal development last year. Real talk. And I'll probably spend a little bit more than that this year. Why? Because I believe in me. I believe in everything that I invest in myself and developing me to be a better person, that I'm going to see a return on that investment. And here's the biggest thing. Even the biggest return on my investment is what it's done for me and my children. Come on, y'all. Y'all not hearing me. And I say that because I come here every Sunday with it, and I leave with these gems and these nuggets, and people will still call me like, you're not getting it. It's like it has to start in your home. The biggest return on my investment thus far has been the relationship that I've developed with my children. Because if I impact them, what does that do? It impacts their mindset, which is going to then impact them when they decide to have children, which will impact their children. I am determined, and it is written that my children's children will know, because of me deciding to be the generational blessing bringer in my family, that they are going to, I'm telling you, they're going to do exceedingly abundantly above all things that they could ever even imagine, all because I decided to believe, not just in myself, but what God said. that I could do. How about that, y'all? I'm just being real. So you like, okay, so the question I know people is like, well, how can I start to develop the mindset and stop shrinking back? First and foremost, I'm going to tell you, you got to believe in something higher than yourself. I'm going to always say believe in your higher power and get with your higher source, because you got to feed yourself spiritually. You're going to need spirit. I'm going to tell y'all right now, to walk the walk of something that has never been done before, you're going to need God. I'm going to tell you that. That's the number one thing. Number two, you're going to start investing in yourself. Get you a coach. Start going to, if there's something that you want to do, like say for instance, it's real estate. If that's something you want to do, invest in a real estate coach. Start going to real estate events. Put yourself in the room. You want to be a speaker? Get in the room. You want to be a minister? Get in the room. Right? Start investing in yourself. Start going to these type of events. You're going to have to get yourself from around the people who don't believe in your vision. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with them, but you're going to have different pockets of friends. You're going to have to put yourself in the room with people who have those type of beliefs, who dream big, who think big, and who are not negative and knocking people down. Put yourself in a place where you're celebrated and not tolerated, right? Start to know yourself. Start writing a journal. Start to know what you love. What is it that you love to do? Right? And I'm going to tell you, the biggest thing is, real talk, know that God loves you. You got to know that God loves you. I don't care what you call your God. That's one of the biggest things I have to come to terms with. I'm like, well, even if they don't love me, I know God does. I know I've made a mess of things in my life. I know I've made mistakes, but I get to correct them. Let me tell y'all something. You got to, I don't care if you hear nothing else I say in this video, hear this. Know that you've made mistakes. Know that you're going to still continue to make them. Know that you get an opportunity, though, to better your best. Know that you get an opportunity to forgive yourself. Know that you get an opportunity to say that you're sorry and to make amends. And to know that once you've done that, and you start walking in the season of correction. And what does that mean? What am I saying? That once you've made amends and really start to work on bettering your best, that means the actions that you are taking going forward, the best apology is changed behavior. You start changing that behavior, then nobody no longer gets to hold that over your head. Okay? Nobody gets to, once you've made amends, nobody gets to hold that over your head. Move forward. I can't worry about what they're going to say about who I used to be. They're going to say that, and they need to. And here's the thing. I may have hurt some people. I'm not saying that I haven't, but if I've apologized and I've made every attempt to make it better, that's all that I can do. Real talk, that's all that I can do. And that's what I walk in every day with my kids. That's all I can do. And I validate their feelings. I don't walk into that like listen, some of our parents ain't going to do that. That's on them. But I said I was a generational blessing bringer. So how can I bring blessings? Number one, by validating how my kids feel. It may not have been my intention. But once I've validated it, once I've apologized for it, once I've changed my actions to move better, right? That's it. That's all. I'm telling y'all, that's how I roll. That's it. That's all. I cannot wallow in that thing forever. I have to start to walk in my New Testament. I just did this with my client. Like, listen, once you have to let go of that burden. You cannot carry that any further once you've made amends. That's the biggest thing you can do. The biggest thing. And it's not to say that, it's not to create this world where, you're just going to keep messing up and doing the same things over and over again and be like, well, God forgives me. That's not how that works, boo-boo. That's not how that works. The best apology is change behavior. If you've been a cheater before, the best apology is change behavior. That means you have enough willpower not to go back to that. How do I know? Because I did it. Real talk. And they say never say never, but there are some things I can say never on again. Okay? I'm just saying that there's some things I can never say never on again, and you can do it too. But it takes for you to get with yourself, to get with your mindset, to get with your spiritual God, to get you an accountability partner. That means somebody that has already broke through that barrier that can help you, right? That's going to hold you accountable, that's going to correct you, and not just be like, oh, it's okay. No, sometimes you don't need to hear it's okay. It's not okay. It's not. And this is we're going to do about it. You hear that point? And this is what we're going to do about it. Okay, so what that happened. Cool. And this is what we're going to do about it. All right? So I come here every Sunday, y'all, to give away free content, right? To help you better your best. Take this and apply some action to it. Don't just listen to listen. What are you going to do about the information that you just received? What are you going to do about the information that you just read in that book? What are you going to do with the information you just learned at that conference? Don't just go to go. And who can you share it with? Because why? And ask yourself, why are you hoarding it? Now, there's some people that can't go. I understand that. There's some of my girlfriends, real talk, I love them, but they ain't ready to sit in that room that I'm willing to sit in. And that's because they don't want it. And that's okay. I love them anyway. But that's not going to stop me from going. Okay? Did you hear me? That's not going to stop. Everybody not ready to fly. And that's all right. And I'm the person that's going to jump off the cliff. I don't have no parachute, y'all. I started the business. I didn't have the business. I'm just unorthodox. I'm not saying that you have to do it with me. Right? But I'm going to go sit in that room and then figure out, okay, I jumped off the cliff now. All right, now I need some systems. I got to go figure this out now. That's just me. I'm not saying do it my way. I'm saying do it. Do you hear me? I'm not saying do it my way. I'm saying just do it. Be like Nike. Stop sitting around procrastinating, though, because I did that too. Oh, I have to go to this class, listen to this, listen to that, read this, read that, and I never moved. And here I am now moving. Move. Okay? Move. That's my message. That's it. That's all, y'all. I love you. Start to invest. Stop asking people for free if you're not willing to invest in yourself. Real talk. I'm just saying it. Okay? I hope you have the most amazing Sunday. If this is a blessing to you, please share it. And I hope that you apply some action to everything that you have heard. I will talk to you next Sunday.